ladies and gentlemen. This is your lecture on the two control centers and systems in your body, or as you can see from the slide labels, this is the nervous system and the endocrine systems. So to start with, we are going to give you just a teeny tiny overview of the parts of the homeostatic process. Remember, the unit that you are in is modeling homeostasis. This is homeostasis. If you want to take a quick memorization here, you definitely can. Know that we are going to come back to this in much, much greater detail. Today's lecture is to teach you about the two master control centers in your body. So, if you have not already typed this purpose statement at the top of the page, as you were directed to do in step number 1, hit pause on me right now, and then go record this purpose statement at the top of the page. Okay? You need to know these components and how they work. We're going to start with the nervous system. So this is slide 13. So if you don't have your notebook open right now in a separate tab, you need to get your notebook open in a separate tab, and it should be on slide 13. I'm guessing that's already done because to get to this recording, you probably clicked on the question mark at the top of the page. Good job. If not, figure out what's going on, hit pause, and make sure that you're on this slide and you can both hear my voice and are ready to type in the boxes. Remember, you can pause me as many times as you want. You can rewind and go back, and you can fill in the notes at your pace. That's why we're doing it in this way. All right, to start with, the function of the whole system. So the very first column, the purpose of your nervous system is to take in and respond to sensory information. This is not necessarily only senses like taste, touch, and feel. There are other things that your nervous system also responds to that you are totally unaware of. But if your nervous system didn't respond to them, you wouldn't be with us today. Your nervous system is made of two main components. It is made of your central nervous system, your brain, and your spinal cord. And it is made of your peripheral nervous system, which extends from your spinal cord out to every organ in your body, and some non-organs, like your eyelids, and your nose hairs, and your esophagus, and your pancreas, and your stomach, and your intestines, and the lining of your intestines. Your nervous system is massive. It literally goes from the hair on your head, that's why it hurts when someone pulls your hair, all the way down to your toes, which is why it hurts when you step on a Lego. The most important organ of the nervous system is in your brain, and it's kind of weird. It's not actually its own set-aside organ, say, like the lungs, or the heart, or the brain in its entirety. It's actually a region in the brain, but it's so stinking important that we give it its own classification as an organ, even though that's a little bit sketchy. Anyways, this region is so super stinking important because it controls all of the automatic functions of your body. So these are the things that you don't even know, but they just happen anyways. Things like your heart beating, your ability to breathe, your ability to digest food, your ability to go to the bathroom, your ability to pull your hand back when something is hot or sticky or ouchy. Any of those things that you don't even have to think about, they just happen, your hypothalamus is in charge. Your hypothalamus is also the thing that we care the most about during traumatic brain injuries. Because if you mess up your hypothalamus, you literally are done. You can't function anymore. There's so many parts of you that just don't work anymore, and they just don't work right. Second to the hypothalamus, also of equal importance, is the spinal cord. So the spinal cord is covered in a series of vertebrae. You might be thinking of your spine, and you're right. Your spine does protect your spinal cord. Right now, what we care about is that pink spongy line that is going to run from your brain all the way down the length of your whole spine. What's in there that's really important in this pink stuff that we really care about is this spongy stuff, this white and this gray matter, and that is actually a bundle of nerves. It's a bundle of neurons that connect your brain with the rest of your body. It's the reason that your hypothalamus can take in and send out information. It's through your spinal cord that your pancreas does what it needs to do, and that your heart beats, and that your lungs expand and contract. Your diaphragm pulls on your lungs to expand and contract, okay? Your spinal cord is super important. In addition, when you have a major accident, yes, we totally care about your brain, but once we know your brain's okay, kind of equal importance is we're gonna make sure your spinal cord is okay. Because if you sever your spinal cord or you damage it in any way, you damage your ability to speak to your organs and potentially your ability to move. So the spinal cord and the brain are pretty freaking important. You probably already knew that, but here's why they're so important. It's because of their connection to the nervous system. In the nervous system, a word that we tend to use wrong is this word called nerves. You can see over here in this picture to the right, all these red bundles. All these red bundles are the pictures of individual nerves. When you remember, pile enough cells together, you make a tissue. Pile enough of these red things together and all their end pieces are kind of yellowy, and this is the space in between. We call that your nerves. Your nerves are actually tissues, not cells. We use this word wrong. It's pretty common, but it's not a big deal because it's a very minute difference. But technically, we do use the word nerves wrong. A nerve is not an individual. It is a bundle. And it is through this bundling that we are able to go from brain to all of your organs, all the way down to your toes. You get enough of these together, and that's what networks that electrical impulse all the way out of your brain or into your brain. Can go both ways. This is what the individual component looks like of your nervous system. And this thing is called a neuron. There's actually other kinds of neurons, but this is the one that does all of the signal transfer from brain all the way out to the other parts of your body. So this is the one we're going to care about. At the end of each one of these neurons, you have these terminal branches that are like finger-like projections. They're really important because they carry those elements. Remember the biochemistry unit. They carry some really important elements back and forth across those finger-like projections from one neuron. So this is the out side of the neuron, over here to the inside of the neuron. So it goes out one neuron into the next one, out one neuron into the next one, and it like travels all the way down your body until a signal enters either the brain or the organ. Okay, so this is the individual component that transmits all of those signals. All right, you had all of these pretty pictures down at the bottom, so hopefully you've already moved those pretty pictures where they need to go. You need to have your whole chart filled in. If you don't have your whole chart filled in, you need to hit pause on me and you need to type all of this information into the chart. You should have a completed summary chart. You are going to need this on your final project. Please fill this out because it will be a required component to your final project, and I'm literally handing it to you right now. Do it. Once it's done, you have on the next slide, so slide 14, you have some labeling that needs to happen. Here are the correct answers. So on this slide, you are going to move, on this picture, you're going to look at slide 14 in your notebook, and you're going to drag and drop all these pictures into the right places. So brain is pretty easy. Please start with the brain. So the brain, then the spinal cord, the nerves. This is where that word gets weird. The neuron, so there's an afferent neuron. An afferent neuron connects to your brain. You're going to add information to your brain. Then you have an efferent neuron. An efferent neuron exits your brain and takes information to a target organ. In this picture, these two dots are really far apart, but they might not necessarily be super far apart. They might be super close together, okay? You have sensory receptors. Typically, those are cells, but not always. You have nerve endings. And then we have some pink arrows for you, and we want you to move the pink and the blue arrow, okay? It should go from receptor to brain back to pink. So blue and then pink, okay? Sensory receptor, brain, and then efferent neuron into whatever the target organ would be. This is what you should have moved by now. Would you, when you're done moving all the pieces and filling in your chart, watch this video. It's a really stinking great recap of some things that I can't do because they have some amazing animation software and it'll just be a lot easier to understand some things if you watch this video. You obviously can't click on the video right here, but you can click on the video if you open the lecture notes or separately, it's literally attached right below, and you can just go back to that Google Doc, you can click on that, and then you can just watch this video. Please watch this video. It is a really outstanding summary recap of the function and components to the nervous system. When you're done watching the video, take a stretch break, reach for the sky, touch your toes, do 10 jumping jacks, do not touch your phone, go potty, come back, and please play the endocrine system lecture.